Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chat with Pat. I'm your host, Patricia Peters, and I'm so grateful you've chosen to spend a little part of your day with me. This is more than just another live stream. It's a place where hearts connect, stories inspired, lessons are shared, and lives are transformed. Here we laugh together, we learn together, we grow together, and sometimes we even cry together. Because every story carries a lesson, every challenge carries a purpose, and every conversation has the power to change someone's life. So whether you're joining us from across the street or across the world, welcome. Grab your favorite cup of coffee, invite a friend, join the conversation, and let's make these next few minutes truly meaningful. This is Chat with Pat, where real conversations create real connections, and every conversation leaves a lasting impact. Welcome, everyone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching right now around the globe or even across the street. My name is Patricia Peters, and I'm the host on Chat with Pat. It's my show, and I do it whenever I want. All right, so tonight's show. Hi, everybody. Thanks and welcome. Tonight's topic is when everything has to be about them, living with narcissistic behavior. Hot topic. We go through this, we see it, we live it, we are it sometimes, and we need to address it. Tonight, I'm addressing it. I'm addressing this topic tonight, living with narcissistic behavior. So, a very good night, everybody, and welcome to Chat with Pat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Patricia Peters. I am a Guyanese born American living in New York for 27 years. I left Guyana when I was 27 years old. I am a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a neighbor, I'm a friend. But above all of that, I am also a digital entrepreneur. That means I own my own business, I work online, and I teach people how to work online. All right. Tonight, I want to talk about something uncomfortable. Have you ever had someone in your life who can hurt you and somehow end up apologizing? Come on, come on. Let me hear the answers. Yeah? Yes. We all know that person, right? You tell them what they did, and suddenly the conversation becomes about what you did. They embarrass you. They tell you you're too sensitive. They need admiration, but rarely give appreciation. These are the people some of us are living with. They can make you question conversations you know you had. And somehow everything always circles back to them. 360, right? Tonight, we're talking about narcissistic behavior. And before anybody starts tagging their husband, wife, mother in law, ex boss, neighbor, pastor, or cousin, hold your horses. Hold your horses, guys, because tonight isn't about diagnosing anybody. We're not diagnosing anyone, right? Tonight, we're examining behaviors. And you tell me if you have seen some of these behaviors. And maybe while you're looking for somebody else's face in this conversation, we might accidentally see a little bit of our own. Audience, tell me in the comments, have you ever dealt with someone who could never be wrong? Yes or no? Tell me. I've had a few of those. Well, a lot of those. What does narcissistic behavior look like? We hear the word, we tell people they are this, but let us learn tonight and examine the behaviors of narcissistic people. Narcissistic traits can show up as an excessive need for admiration, entitlement, lack of empathy, an inflated sense of importance, exploiting relationships, arrogance, or being extremely sensitive to criticism. That's just the meaning of it. But here's what makes this conversation complicated. Not every selfish person is a narcissist. Not every controlling person has narcissistic personality disorder. And somebody having a few narcissistic traits doesn't give us the right to diagnose them. But patterns matter. We got to go with the patterns. It matters, right? Think about these behaviors. They always need to win. Ooh, I always like to win. Does that make me a narcissist? Ah, they struggle to sincerely apologize. Well, that's easy for me. I'll say sorry whenever. They may blame everybody except themselves. Have you guys ever come across people like this? They want recognition, but can never become. They want recognition, but can become uncomfortable when someone else gets attention. Ah, they may dismiss your feelings because acknowledging them would require looking at their own behavior. I'm dissecting everything tonight. They can sometimes charm people publicly while being very different privately. Oh my God. Two-face. I know a lot of people like those. And when challenged, some respond with anger, contempt, withdrawal, blame, or victimhood. Stop scrolling. If you're just joining me, don't leave. Tonight, we're talking about the person who can hurt you and somehow convince you that you caused the wound. OMG. Share this live because somebody needs this conversation tonight. Or you can always watch it on a replay, but share this live. If each of you share this live right now, we're educating people. We're educating men. We're educating women. We're educating young adults about narcissistic behaviors. But why do people behave this way? Let's get this straight. This part is very important. Sometimes what looks like enormous confidence is protecting something much more fragile underneath. Personality develops through complicated mixture of temperament, environment, relationships, experiences, and learned coping patterns. There isn't one simple explanation for narcissistic behavior. And understanding someone's behavior does not mean accepting mistreatment. I can understand why you're bleeding without allowing you to bleed all over me. Let me ask the audience this question. Have you ever made excuses for somebody's behavior because you understood what they've been through? We all do this. We all do this all the time. If yes, type yes if you have, because I've done it a lot of times. What does it do to the people around them? This is where it gets painful. Imagine constantly asking yourself, did I say something wrong? Am I being too sensitive? Maybe it's really was my fault. Maybe really it was my fault. Maybe I shouldn't bring it up. Maybe if I explain myself differently, they'll understand. Eventually you may start walking on eggshells. That's what narcissistic people do. They make you walk on eggshells. Your confidence can shrink. You stop speaking freely. Have you ever had gone in a crowd with your family and then your spouse give you the look or the expression on his or her face and all these facial expression? You stop speaking freely. You put yourself in a bubble. You're not that free spirit person you used to be. You second guess your judgment. Living with narcissistic people will make you feel so stupid that you start believing yourself that you're stupid. You become exhausted from trying to keep peace with someone who keeps moving the goalpost. And here's tonight's line. You can spend as much time managing somebody else's emotions that you abandon your own. You have to please them all the time. You have to do everything right. You have to show them love. You have to show them appreciation. You have to, as a Guyanese would say, puja these people. You have to puja these people, right? But I felt that if you feel like that's what you're doing in your relationship, in your family circle, among your friends, put in the chat box, I feel that. Thank you, Nisha, for giving me the number one. You're my number one viewer. Thank you so much. Now, here is the uncomfortable part. Anisha. Everybody wants to know, how do I deal with a narcissist? How do you deal with a narcissist, Anisha? How? But I have another question. What if sometimes it's us? Ouch. Yes. Maybe some of you who are watching me tonight, listening to me, maybe you are a narcissist. Has anyone ever told you you're a narcissist? I told several people in my circle that they are a narcissist. I told them. I've seen the traits. I've seen the behavior. I've seen the attitude. I've seen it. And I couldn't hold back because that's who these people are. Can you apologize without adding but? If you get my drift, right? Can you apologize without adding but? Can you apologize wholeheartedly? I want to apologize, but you're not sincere. You don't want to apologize. Can somebody disagree with you without becoming your enemy? When someone tells you that you hurt them, do you listen or immediately defend yourself? These are traits of narcissism. Can you celebrate someone else's success without making it about yourself? Oh my God. I've seen this all the time. Do you manipulate the silence? Oh my goodness. I have people in the crowds, and one person will get up and will show, in Guyanese terminology, they will show all the bow. They will make this the show. They're like the drama mama. They will get up and they will do all the funny things and the jokes, and they want to be the center of attraction. I have people like that in my family. Or if you're having a conversation, their voice has to be the highest, the loudest. to draw everyone's attention? Do you manipulate with silence? Narcissist people will stay quiet, and their quiet will dictate and dominate your life just because they're quiet. Do you always have to have the final word? Huh? Yeah, this is where all of us are so guilty about this, right? Do you use guilt to control people? Can you admit I was wrong? Because self-awareness isn't weakness. Telling people that you're wrong, I apologize, whatever I said just now was wrong, it doesn't make you weak. It's growth. You're wiser, you're smarter. You can admit when you do something wrong. That's growth. And people capable of looking into the mirror have an opportunity to change unhealthy patterns. Sometimes take a pause in life, look in the mirror, ask yourself these questions. Who am I? Why am I behaving the way I am behaving? Why do I cause trouble? Ask yourself these questions, because some of us are really, really mischievous troublemakers. And while we're talking about people controlling our emotions, let me ask you something else. Who controls your financial life? Who? Because sometimes control doesn't only come from one person, right? Sometimes it's a paycheck. Sometimes it's a job you're terrified to lose. Sometimes it's knowing you're unhappy, but you can't walk away because you cannot afford to. And that is one of the reasons I started building something of my own. I wanted another option. I wanted another stream. I wanted to learn how to build something that belonged to me. So tonight, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not promising you overnight riches. I'm simply asking, if your income disappeared tomorrow, what would you have that you built? If that question makes you uncomfortable, maybe it's time to at least look at another possibility. I help ordinary people learn how to build an online income with a digital business by training them, giving them mentorship and a step-by-step system. If you want to know what I'm doing, type ready in the comments or visit my website, www.patriciapeters247.com. Don't wait until life takes away your options before you start creating some. Now back to tonight's conversation, because here's a question nobody wants to ask. What if the narcissistic behavior we're trying, what if the narcissistic behavior we're talking about isn't coming from somebody else? What if some of it is coming from us? You heard that right. So what is the solution? You cannot force adults to change. Adults will not change. My father-in-law smoked cigarette until he was 83. Every time you tell him to stop smoking the cigarette, he thinks it's like water and duck's back. He thinks you're crazy. So every time he lived with us for 6 months, every time he sees me, he asks me for a cigarette. Every time he sees my husband, he asks him for a cigarette. Every time he sees my brother Elvis across the street, he asks him for a cigarette. And my husband doesn't smoke. This man has 5 sons. None of them smoke. My husband is like, if you're living at my house, you can't smoke cigarettes in my house. We don't smoke in the house. Wintertime, this guy wants to smoke in the house and everything in between. I did not say a word because I am respectful. I will give him the cigarette. I give it to him because I want to be respectful to my father-in-law. He asked me something, I give it to him. Even if it's going to kill him, I give it to him. I was obedient. But I will tell him that, Dad, this is not right. He said, "My smoke since my little by my smoke until now I'm not dead yet." I said, "Well, you live 83 years old, Cigarette probably works with you." But so what is the solution? You cannot force adults to change. I was telling you that story because to tell you that adults don't change. They cannot change. They don't want to change because they live all their lives that way, and now you're going to tell them to change when they're in their dying bed, you know? But you can decide what behavior gets access to you. Set boundaries. Stop participating in endless circular arguments. Don't spend 3 hours proving something to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Communicate clearly. Protect your emotional self. So, these are ways we can find a solution for this problem. So, if you're living with someone who has all these traits and you see all of these attitudes, you have to do some good reading. You have to ask some good questions. And there's so much ways and means on social media to know how to approach certain people, how to talk to certain people, how to carry yourself among certain people. There's so much avenues and resources that you can find solution to every situation, every problem. So don't be lazy. Don't be stagnant. Don't tell yourself that there is no help. There is help out there. Talk to someone. And if you feel that you've been living with a narcissistic person who has been tormenting your life for years and decades, you need to get out or address the situation. Talk about it. Don't carry on. Don't go on living like that because you're going to lose your life. The one life God has given to you. Tormentation is not the way. Living with narcissistic people can be detrimental to our health. We need to work on this solution. You can't change them, but you can decide what behavior gets access to you. Set boundaries. No touching, no hitting. Set boundaries, guys. This is my space. That's your space. Stop participating in arguments. Do not argue. Stop spending hours proving to them that you're right because you will never be right. Communicate clearly. Bring your point of view out. Tell them how you feel. Tell them how it affects you. Tell them what you need to get done. Protect your emotion. Protect your space. Protect your peace. Protect your life. With that being said, it has been 23 minutes. For those of you watching, if you look around and you find that there are no good human beings in the world, please be the first one to be kind, caring, and loving. Ciao for now. Have a good almost morning. Bye. Thank you for being part of Chat with Kat. Until we meet again, keep believing, keep growing, and keep inspiring. God bless you. And remember, every conversation leaves a lasting impact. Looking forward to seeing you on the next episode of Chat with Kat.
Sparks turn my hustle into what left my name on the charts. I don't clock in, I don't clock out. I'm on the likes to talk about.